Your body hears your thoughts. This is evidence from an experiment few know of. Our physical presence, our physical condition, our body is hermetic. It sounds heavy, but it's the reality. The pleasant thing about this reality is that it is the hermitage of our own selves, because it adapts and is the object and result not only for the actions that we go through, but mainly of our thoughts, moods, decisions, and even our imagination. Quote, psychosomatic is what happens to you, unquote, we all say. But in addition to us, it's also said by research from reputable universities and renowned scientists, which prove that we have the power to use our mind and imagination to achieve amazingly beneficial effects on our body, our appearance, and therefore our psychology. The mind trains the body. Scientists have been trying for decades to find the best way to get a strong, well-formed muscle. The given was, if you don't sweat, you don't see results. But when it came time to explore the real role of the brain in muscle growth, the scientific establishment was shocked. A study conducted at Bishop's University in Quebec, Canada, focused on 3 groups of people. The first followed their usual lifestyle. The second was exercising 3 times a week by exercising a specific muscle. And the third just listened to instructions from headphones, performing with their imagination the exercises of the second group. Now, before I go on with the article, I remember when I was taking yoga classes, after work in Manhattan. I used to take at the Jack LaLanne. All right. But we had this yoga instructor from India that says that even if you look at someone exercising, even if you're paralyzed, let's say, for example, and you look at someone in front of you exercising, your imagination will think that your body is doing those exercises, and that will beneficially help your body to become more agile and be able to move. So he was telling us, this to us. This is also known from antiquity. That's what I'm trying to say. But let's go on to this evidence from this experiment. As it turned out, the first group had no effect. The second increased in strength of this muscle by 28%. And the third, who just imagined that it was exercised, strengthened the muscle by 24%. Eventually, they concluded that experimental experience and imagery energy have exactly the same effect on behavior and the brain. That is, whether you do something with your imagination or you really do it physically, the body reacts in the same way. So going to work is like going to the gym. According to Harvard University psychologist, researcher, and professor Ellen Langer, if one considers one's daily work as an exercise that benefits one's health, one will see one's organic condition improve. In the pioneering study by the psychologist, the scientists explained to half of the cleaning staff of a large hotel that the daily chores they did were what their body needed to become healthier, while they did not provide any corresponding information to the other employees. 4 weeks later, the informed maids lost weight, reduced their blood pressure and blood fat percentage, lost points in the waist area, and reduced their body mass index in contrast to their other half colleagues who did not show any physical changes. So how did this happen? It's just that the former believed that their work was capable of making positive changes in their body, as if they were exercising. As it turned out, the women's brains responded wonderfully to the new perspective given to them. According to Ellen Langer, quote, perceptions change your body and your weight. If you believe you are exercising, your body can respond as if it's actually exercising. I don't think people understand how deep the influence of the mind is on our physical condition. Now back to youth. In early 2010, the results of a bizarre experiment that had hitherto been kept secret came to light. The experiment was performed in 1979 by the same psychologist. A number of elderly people were divided into 2 groups, and taken to a secluded sanatorium outside Boston. The first group lived in an artificial environment where time had turned 20 years back to 1959. Participants were asked in response to act and discuss as if they were living 20 years younger. Inside their shelter, they listened to music and watched movies from that period, talking about the castle, Havana, and a launch of NASA's first satellite. And 1 week later, the group of elderly people who lived their younger lives literally came back to life. One man threw away his cane, another was ready to play football, and everyone carried their suitcases on their own. Langer's measurements showed that all the healthy parameters of the elderly in this group, which had gone back in time, had improved more than those of the second group. Their memory, cognitive abilities, gait speed, dexterity, vision, and hearing were remarkably renewed, while arthritis was reduced and their blood pressure was reduced. Dr. Langer published the data of the study in 1981 in a concise way, fearing, as a young academic at the time, that she might be rejected. After 30 years of continuous research on mind-body interconnection issues and now having achieved the reputation of a well-known Harvard professor, decided to report all these events, all her findings. Her view on aging is, quote, be encouraging the elderly to think as if they were younger. The body follows and becomes younger, end quote. And she says psychosomatic is. We say that in the minds of most, this finding has a negative charge. The pleasant thing is that it is in our hands, and especially in our minds, in the way we think, in our priorities and desires, that the psychosomatic process has a positive sign and result. Saying it, believing it, and it will be done. If it comes out of your soul and your mind supports it, your body has no other choice. It will obey and apply. If you think you're old, you're old. If you think you're young, you are young. If you believe you have strengths, you can do the impossible. If you think you don't have the strength, it's impossible to do anything. Think, decide, and do. Your body doesn't listen to anyone else, only you. This is from Diadrastika I've translated for you. Please tell me what you think. Leave your comments. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.